Uzbekistan is a country I always wanted to look at in detail. It was perhaps the country in Central Asia that first drew me to work on the region as a young researcher, but it's taken a long time to find the right opportunity. So today, when there aren't a lot of good international news stories, what was being said about progress in Uzbekistan since 2016 stood out as something worth looking at in detail. I wanted to find out what was real, what was spun by the regime, and where the issues that were still contested were. Spotlight on Uzbekistan tries to cover a lot of ground and provide a platform for a diverse range of voices. We spoke to a lot of experts, both internationally and on the ground in Uzbekistan, to try and get a sense of what the major issues were and who were some of the best people to write about them. And it tries as much as possible to give a comprehensive overview of where things in Uzbekistan stand today. But I'm conscious there's so much more we could have ended up writing about. So firstly, the report looks at the progress of the reforms to the economy, government, and also local administration. It looks at the progress, or lack thereof, in terms of democracy. It looks at the efforts taken so far in the rule of law, the fight against torture, the important issue of NGO registration, women's and minority rights, as part of a wider package of human rights the report takes a closer look at. The report takes stock of the progress so far in tackling forced labour, which has been a major achievement, while looking at what still needs to be done in order for the boycott of Uzbek cotton to be lifted. It looks at issues around transparency, accountability, and the fight against corruption across the economy and society, but particularly when it comes to the building boom in Uzbekistan and the impact that that has had on communities being displaced and not always properly compensated. It looks at the way in which Mirziyoyev has reformed Uzbekistan's diplomacy, building relationships at a regional level and repairing ties to Moscow, Beijing and the West. While different essay contributors bring different perspectives, my overall take is that the reform process in Uzbekistan is real, but there are still a lot of problems that need to be addressed. So despite recent progress, there's a lot of work still needing to be done to create an open economy, pluralist politics and free society in Uzbekistan that President Mirziyoyev has talked about. And it's still unclear how far beyond the type of authoritarian modernisation seen so far that he's actually willing to go. And to date, the reforms have created a type of managed freedom where there is space for constructive criticism, and there has been a reduction in state interference in everyday life, but some more sensitive topics still remain firmly off limits. And this progress has seen Uzbekistan get a lot of international praise. However, there are growing concerns about cronyism and corruption as Mirziyoyev tries to build this new, more business-friendly Uzbekistan. And the response to COVID-19 has highlighted both the successes and failings of the new system, with swift and quite transparent action initially to control the virus, but a number of cases of local abuses of power, and there are now growing concerns about the potential for unrest. Ultimately, the reforms will be incomplete, however, if the suffering of those who are victims under Karimov don't get addressed. And there needs to be a new national conversation to help deliver transitional justice for the victims, and new support put in place to help rehabilitate those who have suffered so much.